All right, let's see. Hopefully, I'm live and everything's good, so I could talk about this real quick. All right, so I'm gonna be real quick here, man. But I did want to make this video because, I want to piggyback off of the Exile podcast we did last night. I did want to talk about the Xbox Series S and X 120 in the Xbox Series S being blamed for 120 frames per second. I mean, for 30 frame per second games, specifically in Gotham Knights and possibly Starfield. But as you see here, right? As you see here, uh, here's a list of the PlayStation 5 games that support 120 frames per second. 20 games, and this is an old article. And here's the Xbox Series X, and look at this that I have highlighted, Series S, and 86 games, 120 frames per second on both the Xbox Series X and the Series S. So the reason why I want to point this out here is because some dev who doesn't even work for WB Montreal, doesn't work on Gotham Knights, try to blame the Series S for the game running at 30 frames per second and not the developers who, last I checked, the developers made their decisions, right? And it's kind of funny how, with a simple Google search, we find that that console that I'm hearing is holding back the generation, is underpowered as a potato, has more 120 frames per second games than the vaunted PS5 that everybody praises and loves, right? And I'm not saying this to shit on the PlayStation 5. I'm saying this to prop up the Series S. I think the Series S is a great console that is trying to be targeted as a scapegoat where that it doesn't it's being treated as a scapegoat for an issue that's not the console's issue, right? The console plays games perfectly fine. It could play Cyberpunk 2077 at 60 frames per second, all right? And if everybody's seen that game is extremely detailed, extremely gorgeous, and it runs that game perfectly. So you're gonna sit here and tell me that all these games could run at 120 frames per second, but yet the Series S is holding back the generation. The Series S, which is full RDNA 2, by the way, it's an engineering feat if you ask me, and it's a great complement to the Xbox Series X. The point of that console, this Xbox Series S, is more like an entry level thing. You could still play these current generation games with no issue at all, none at all, and yet we got to sit here and listen to it be blamed for a game running at 30 frames per second. And yet, it's kind of funny because um, it's a console that has more 120 frames per second games than the PS5, full RDNA 2, and Xbox. They're not really supporting the Xbox One anymore. If you noticed, Redfall, Starfield, and Forza are all current gen exclusives that's coming next year, right? Even A Plague's Tale Requiem, which hits Game Pass tomorrow, is only playable on the current Xbox consoles. And yet, for PlayStation, they're still going to be supporting the PS5. Wouldn't that hold back gaming more? Right? Wouldn't that hold back gaming more to support 10-year-old hardware in the PS4 instead of just moving on with the PS5? That's all I'm saying, man. I'm not going to sit here and take this Xbox Series S slander personally, because I think it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous that people who spent $300 on a console all say they love it, all have nothing but good things to say about it, and all this. Now we got to sit back and hear this one guy blame him for. And by the way, the guy doesn't work at WB. He claims to be a developer. I'm going to take his word for it. And hey, Manuel, thank you for the $5. He said, "Give us the truth, unlimited. I love my Xbox Series X, but the S is a beast too." And yes, it is, man. It's a great freaking console. It plays games extremely well. Pretty much, and not only that, Manuel. Pretty much every game on the Series X, all it does is run at a lower resolution. Most of them, if not all of them, have some kind of 60, also have the performance mode, which often gives 60 FPS at a lower resolution. There's Series X. That is perfectly fine, right? That is perfectly fine. It's clear So somehow, Ubisoft could develop 60 frames per second on it. EA, Microsoft, you name it. A lot of these other console video game makers are running it perfectly fine. And yet one game is 30 FPS, and then all of a sudden it's the Series S's fault. That's a little crazy to me. Especially as you see here, PlayStation 5 games with 120 frames per second support, 20 games. This is the list right here. 20 games. And yet the Series S or X, both really, but let's focus on the Series S, 86. And this is an old list, by the way. So the list has grown since then. All right. So hey, man, that's all I just wanted to point out, man, is that don't blame the Series S for developers' problems. And another thing I want to say, PCs, right? So PC gaming. Here's the thing about PC gaming, right? There's a lot of different kind of video cards that do a lot of different performances. Not every PC gamer is playing at 4K 60 or none of that stuff. Plenty of PC gamers out there, their rigs can't run 4K. Their rigs can't do ray tracing, and yet somehow the PC guys don't get blamed for it. I hope that noise that I'm hearing isn't coming through in the video. Yeah, that was kind of loud. Excuse me there. So PC is allowed its functionality, but the Series S isn't. Again, it just doesn't make sense to me. At the end of the day, any performance we get out of video games is up to the devs, right? Because you see a Plague's Tale Requiem that comes out tomorrow. It doesn't have performance mode, but it has uncapped frame rates. So it's gonna run at 60 FPS. It's just you don't have the option between quality or performance like you do in other games. Perfectly fine, right? But that was their decision. That was Asobo's decision to do it that way. When I'm sure when Call of Duty hits later in this month, I'm sure that's going to have its performance mode or quality mode, however they do it on that game. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to blame anybody, blame the developers, which even then I'm not a big fan of doing, right? I personally, I'm like the opposite of most YouTubers where I don't jump on developers' backs when your game will have to be particularly terrible for me to jump on the developer's back and really say that they're lazy or anything. Because I got to be honest with you, I don't really believe in the term lazy developer like a lot of people do. The little knowledge I have on actual game development, it looks so damn difficult. I'm surprised that we even made it this far to a 4K 60 era where that's the standard we expect. Because I remember seeing if you ever seen, for example, every once in a while Ninja Theory does they do a little thing where they'll show the behind the scenes on making Hellblade 2, and they got to start with mocap and how they switch from the mocap to the graphics and everything. It looks extremely difficult for however long that game is. Let's say it's a 10-20 hour game. Putting in that work, make that game look like that for 20 hours is extremely impressive. And sometimes I think with development, a lot of developers end up taking shortcuts because the shit is so tedious, we already are aware about the notorious crunch that goes on in the gaming community, as they call it, where before release, plenty of these gaming developers are working insane hours to get these games finished and published, released out the door. Are they being lazy when they're crunching? I don't think so. I think that the game development process is just, it's so difficult now that a lot of us gamers don't really understand the level which it is, and that's why for me personally, I don't really I don't often jump on developers' backs. Like even something like The Last of Us, I think it's ridiculous to release a game for the third time for $70. I didn't get mad at the developers. It's guys like Neil Druckmann who's at the head of it who should get the blame for such decisions. Hey, what's up, 100 man? It's just me going solo, man. And GA Addict, G Addict 1. Hey man, what's up, my brother GA or GA? It's because it's capitalized. I keep saying GA Addict. He said, "What is going on with 30 frames per second? Got the Knights and not a Plague Tale." Now, a Plague Tale Requiem, for what I read, had uncapped frame rate. Is it 30 frames per second or is it uncapped? Because if I read uncapped, that's kind of what I'm going with. However, I'm not gonna lie to anybody. So if it's different and it's 30 frames per second, then again, hey man, that's the developer's decision. It's not Microsoft's decision. Microsoft ain't saying, hey guys, make your game 30 frames per second so it could run on the Series S. How many times have Microsoft said, damn near specifically, right, that hey, we'll let the developers do what they want to do. And if they made it 30 frames per second, hey, get on them for that. If you ask me, personally, to me, it's one of those things that's not the end of the world. But I get it. Because 30 or 60 frames per second, it is so smooth. It is so smooth, and it's one of the coolest advantages. See, apparently, according to quick search here, 60 FPS for a Plague Tale Requiem on the frame rate, addict. Hey, but yeah, man, blaming the Series S is absolutely nonsense, man. Absolutely nonsense. And where's I going with that? Oh yeah, that's right. I was talking about how it's the developer's choice, not Microsoft don't put a gun to these guys' heads and say, hey, make it 30 frames per second. That's crazy. That's just not happening. That's why I tell people, man, slow down a bit. Slow down a bit, man. Xbox Series S 1080p 30, 40 frames on the Series X on 120 hertz. 1440p 30, 40 frames on the PS5 at 100. Oh well, I get. Hey, 100 said, but I'm not blaming. I mean, Sony's still going to be supporting the PS4, and Microsoft ain't supporting the Xbox One, so there's a better argument for that, if you ask me. But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? But it's weird because Attic here is saying, 30 to 40 frames for a Plague Tale. The article here is saying 60, so we'll see. We'll see. The game releases tomorrow, and I'll be playing it regardless. And I'm gonna be real with you guys. If the game is good, it's not. I'm gonna forgive it anyway because I'm one of those people. If I enjoy a game, I could forgive its flaws as long as it's not like game-breaking flaws. If it's to the point where you can't play the game because it's so broken, I get it. I'm not making no justification for that nonsense. I'm not making justifications for the aggressive microtransactions. That's why I don't play sports games, right? Predicted score for the game. Like the review score for a Plague Tale, it's probably gonna be pretty good reviews. I don't really follow review scores like that, Emmanuel. If I'm to be honest with you, but I think it's good. I think it'll do fine, like the first game. Yeah, it's gonna get some damn good reviews. But at the end of the day, what's gonna matter most to me, Emmanuel, is my opinion when I play it. Because I'm gonna be real with you, man. I've never played a game and then be like, yeah, but it's got a 69 at Metacritic, so this game sucks. No. If I play a game like Crackdown 3, didn't review well, I had fun with it, man. I beat it on Legendary difficulty, had a blast with that game. So what am I going to say? I can't like it because reviewers didn't? Nah, get out of here. I love the damn game because I had fun with it. It was a fun open world game where I was damn near a superhero in New Providence and all that, man. I don't care if it didn't review well. That have no effect on me. On the flip side, Metal Gear Solid 5, one of the best reviewed games on Xbox One. As a big fan of stealth games and open world games, I actually thought the game was pretty damn boring. I was disappointed because I remember specifically that game came out like 2015, right? That game came out like 2015, and I remember a coworker was like, "Oh, it's the best game I ever played." This, and that. So I'm like, "Okay, that's what's up." I tried it. I was like, "Whoa, this shit is empty." And yeah, so I didn't like Metal Gear Solid 5 like that. And that game has unbelievable reviews. And he said for Gotham, yeah, I'll probably get like a 73, 75 around that range. But even if it does and I enjoy it, what does that 73, 75 mean? You know what I'm saying, Emmanuel? What impact would somebody else's review have on my enjoyment of a game? For me, it's none. Yeah, the campaign was great. Now the multiplayer, yeah, it didn't really live up to the hype like that. But the campaign, man, the campaign was off the chain, man. That's one of them bad games I'll defend to the end of the earth. Um, I remember State of Decay 2 didn't light the world on fire, and that was one of my favorite games of 2018. I fanboy the fuck out of State of Decay 2. To this day, you'll find me praising that game. I was addicted to that game. State of Decay 2, man, that game was addictingly good, as I like to put it. And that's kind of like the crux of my point there, Emmanuel. Even if it gets a 73, 75, 80, 90, it's not going to have any impact on my enjoyment, not going to have any impact on my opinion, not going to have any impact on if I buy it or not. Because something like a Plague's Tale, I could see that being a situation like there's this game on Game Pass called Children of Morta. It hit Game Pass, and it was this really, 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 really fun, like top-down RPG with this gorgeous graphic style. Right, I loved it. I loved it so much that I bought it, and it's actually a pretty affordable game. You could pick it up in like the $20 range now. So when it comes to games on Game Pass, every once in a while, I'll play a game I love so much, I'll just like, screw it, I'm gonna buy it just to own it. Outriders was another game that I loved off Game Pass, and then ended up buying it when it was on sale. Cause I picked it up for like $30 last year, and I remember loving the fuck out of that when it first hit Game Pass. That game surprised the hell out of me. 100 said, I don't use Metacritic for my review of games. Yeah, same here, 100. I don't at all. I gotta be honest with you. I don't read reviews. I don't go to Metacritic. I don't really do none of that stuff. Because I learned a long time ago that people don't really care about reviews. They just go straight to the number and then base their opinion off that. So if a game got a 2 out of 10, they'll just go skip all the way down, see the number, copy and paste. Hey, this game is trash. Didn't play it. Didn't like it from the beginning. Never had interested. But since the review confirms their bias, confirmation bias, if you will, that's what they run with. For me, it's like, dog, I don't care. All right, if I'm interested in game, I'm gonna buy it anyway. If you ever seen my channel, all I do is post unboxing videos, gameplay, and collection videos. So I buy shit all the fucking time anyway. So if I'm interested, I'm gonna buy it regardless. Every once in a while, I'll buy a game I don't like, but for the most part, at this point, man, I know what games usually gonna click with me. I know what games might not. Something like No More Heroes 3. Never played 1 and 2, but when I saw the gameplay, I knew it was something that I'd enjoy. Fast-paced gameplay, kind of goofy, if you will. Really cool anime style, art style, over-the-top game, something that I tend to enjoy, right? On the flip side, I probably wouldn't enjoy the new God of War Ragnarok, because I didn't like God of War 2018. Very slow, kind of boring, kind of plotting, over dramatic, like overly dramatic stuff. That's not really my thing. I don't really play games to watch a soap opera. I tend to play them. I tend to like things that are a little more, just kind of fun. Like Sunset Overdrive was my favorite game of the 8th generation, right? And Emmanuel said, I've learned my lesson to go ahead and buy games before they leave Game Pass. They seem to not go back on discount. Really? They don't go on. Kingdom Hearts 3 didn't go on discount. That's interesting. Because I do remember when it was on Game Pass. Yeah, man. But you know what? I think I've noticed, Emmanuel, a lot of the Japanese games on Xbox, they don't really go on sale as often. Every once in a while, they'll do like the anime sale or something like that, and you can find some pretty good deals. But yeah, for some reason, they seem to be a little harder, take a little longer to go on sale. Even something like the Koei Tecmo games, the Dynasty Warrior games, every once in a while I check the Xbox store and they're still $60, $70. Attic here said, anyone picking up Ghostbusters? Personally, no, but I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're gonna play a Ghostbusters game, play the Ghostbusters game that was based off it's basically Ghostbusters 3, the one that and the remastered is playable on Xbox One and Series X. That Ghostbusters game is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I beat it a while ago. I loved every minute of it. If there, that's the one Ghostbusters game, Addict, that felt to me like more like Ghostbusters than all the other ones. Because I own another Ghostbusters game, and it's kind of like more of a co-op twin stick shooter. Not nearly as good. And I know the one that's released tomorrow is kind of like I think it's like one of those asymmetric games. But yeah, so personally, if if I'm gonna recommend the Ghostbusters game, it's the one that's based, it's the one that's based off the movie. It's fantastic, and really, by the time you beat it, you're gonna feel like, oh man, I just experienced Ghostbusters 3. Channel here said Crackdown 3 was great. I hate that they're gonna be scared to make another one. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's kind of like the theme of eighth generation. A lot of eighth generation Xbox exclusives. Channel. We're not going to see another Sunset Overdrive. Well, I mean, Insomniac is owned by Sony, so we really not going to see that on Xbox. Um, yeah. New mic, man. Got a new mic. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad the quality's coming in well. I'm glad it's coming in well. But yeah, but like I was saying, Channel, a lot of them eighth gen Xbox exclusives, your Quantum Breaks, your Crackdowns, your Sunset Overdrives. Hell, even the Titanfall 3, we're probably not going to see anytime soon, right? It's just the unfortunate circumstances, man, of that generation where Microsoft didn't own those studios, and what was happening is that since they didn't own them, they weren't really reaping the benefits to the same extent that they will now with the studios they do own. Excuse me, real quick. Sorry about that. Let's see. Emmanuel said, "I'm 5 years too young to appreciate Ghostbusters nostalgia." Hey, man, I still, if you still haven't seen the movies, I'll still say check it out, man. Ghostbusters 1 and 2 are some great movies. They had a new Ghostbusters movie, I think in 2020 or 2021, that I heard was really good. I just haven't seen it yet. I heard that one's really good, and the 2016 one was notoriously terrible. Yeah, I didn't like it either. I didn't like the 2016 one either. It was a little too stupid for my taste. Yeah, that jank do sound good now that you mention it. What jank, Emmanuel? I guess he meant the mic. Quant Addict said Quantum Break. Yeah, man, Quantum Break is my favorite Remedy game, and I'm saying this as somebody who beat American Nightmare, the DLC or expansion, whatever it was, to Alan Wake. Beat Alan Wake, beat Control, enjoyed Control, and beat Quantum Break. And Quantum Break was my favorite of them. The powers in Quantum Break were stunning. The game was absolutely stunning. The graphics were amazing. Homeboy who played Iceman in the X-Men movies, I'm forgetting his name, was awesome. The dude who played Littlefinger in Game of Thrones, again forgetting his name too, was an excellent villain. That is one of them games, man. That's one of them games that really just clicked with me too, man. It had the live action cutscenes, which that part was kind of all right. It was at least a creative way to do cutscenes. But they're kind of long. They're like 20 minutes per cutscene, man. That was probably a little too long. But other than that, great gameplay, great story, great action. I love Quantum Break too, Addict. It's a shame we probably won't see one, or if we do, it'll definitely be multi-plat. Because I believe the Control DLC tied a lot of their universes together. Emmanuel's channel said newest Ghostbusters with Stranger Things kid was a little overrated. The latest movie that came out last year. Well, yeah, I'm gonna take your word for it because again, I haven't seen it and I can't speak on something I haven't seen. Channel. But I'm just going off what you hear, and when I say what you hear, it's literally just something like I heard Erock say it, or you hear friends say, "Oh, it was a good movie," type thing. Issa said Microsoft owns the Quantum Break IP. Oh, that's good. That's good news. So if they own the IP, hopefully that means that they could use one of their studios to ever make a sequel. Because the game did kind of sequel bait at the end. If you remember with Lance Reddick there at the end of the game, I'm not. It's a 6-year-old game. I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, the game did kind of sequel bait at the end of it. Emmanuel A said, "I just got Alan Wake remake for $16. Gotta beat Grounded first though." Yeah. I think you're gonna enjoy it. It's a dope horror game. And at the time on the 360, it was a really, really, really good game on the 360. Um, but honestly, I didn't play it until because Quantum Break came with a free copy of Alan Wake, and that's when I played it back in 2016. I didn't play it on the actual 360. So it gotta be, yeah. Grounded is a Obsidian's got such a great track record that I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised. Grounded was so fun. But it's like it's one of them games where I think if you're not like a hardcore gamer, you kind of still like, what the hell is Grounded, and it could take you by surprise that it's actually a fun survival game, man. They did their thing, man. I like that the full release has a campaign and everything. So like I think the campaign kind of gives you more reason to play it if you're not like this hardcore survival game type gamer. Chandler said, "Yeah, if they don't own Quantum, if they don't own, oh, if they didn't own Quantum, Remedy would have tied it into Control." Okay, so all Remedy did was tied Alan Wake into Control, not Quantum Break. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Let me just see a couple things here. Yeah, man, that makes a lot of sense, channel. But still, man, I'd love a Quantum Break too. Whatever they do with it, even if they switch it up, like make Beth the protagonist instead of our boy Iceman, who played Jack Joyce in the game. See, I can remember Jack Joyce. I can't remember his actual name. Yeah, he was Jack Joyce in the game. Hey, what's up, Legal? What's up, man? I'm glad you stopped by. Yeah, man. Direct Gaming, New Legal. He was doing a gameplay of Scorn. He was doing Scorn on his channel, man. And yeah, man. Yeah. So before I start talking about a lot of these other Xbox games, I was talking about how the Series S shouldn't be blamed for the whole 30 FPS stuff that I've been seeing. And I'm just pull this up here. How there are more 120 frames per second games on the Series S than the PS5, and so you're going to tell me that they could run games at 120 frames per second, but can't do other games, but got to be capped at 30? Nah, come on, man. And he said, "Damn, I haven't seen A1 in the yeah, man. A1 always repping. A1's that dude, man. The Texas Connect. That's right, man. The Texas Connection. You already know it, man." Because, I'm out here in Houston. I believe Direct Game is out there in Dallas, about 4 hours away. Yeah, and it's a nice cool day for once. None of that 90-degree shit. It's October. You think it'd cool down, but sometimes in Texas it just stays hot forever. But yeah, I think I got most of what I want to say out, man. So if you guys got anything else, I got a little time. I could hang out with you guys for a little longer. I'm enjoying talking about games. I'm lit is getting them with the truth. Oh, always, man. Always got to spit that truth, cause there'd be a lot of nonsense out there in the gaming world, Legal. A lot of nonsense. And sometimes you gotta call it out. Sometimes you gotta just kick back and say, "Oh, hold on, man." You gotta call it out. Okay, yeah, okay. He's out there in Arlington now. Arlington is pretty close to Dallas. I'd say less than an hour away. Yeah, man. It's sending me back to school to get my electrician's license. Took my free. Hey, man. Do your thing. Do your thing, Emmanuel. You gotta work hard to get to where you need to go. They didn't cry about the Pro holding back the PS4, did they? Hey, channel. It was confirmed, and let me see if I could find an article here. Let's see. Sony will support. It was confirmed that they were supporting the PS4 for a while. Look at this. PS4 will get up to 4 years of support from Sony after the PS5 launch. Again, no outrage, right? No outrage for that. And you're telling me that this 10-year-old hardware isn't going to hold back gaming, but the Series S, which is RDNA 2, has great components under the hood. is an excellent console, more 120 frames per second games than the PS5. It's got all these cool benefits, and that's going to hold back gaming. Come on now. Sometimes you don't need a developer to know these things. You just got to put two and two together. Let's see. Apollo Cooper said, "I find it so funny how Sony decides to cancel their showcase because of the Activision acquisition." Yeah, Cooper. If that rumor is true, that's such a Sony thing to do, isn't it? Right? To kind of pull that one, which is so weird to me that there see Sony's kind of lucky that their fans will praise everything they do no matter what. So because I just think it's weird to say to potentially, and this is rumor, so I'm not going to treat it as fact. But if they did cancel their show because of this deal, so that they don't look like the bad guy, that is just that's just so that seems so oddly childish to me, right? Any hope for Black Adam? Yeah, it looks like it'll be a fun movie. I'm going to be off work next week, all next week. Actually going to be off work from the 22nd to the 31st. So I'm going to be off at the end of the month, basically. And I think I'm going to check it out in theater while I have time. But it looks like it could be a fun movie. And you know, I'm a big DC fan, so I'm going to give it a chance anyway. Sony stopped wearing their socks. Hey. Hey man, Sony's doing a lot of things, man. A lot of things that are just, whew. Some of it is just like I don't know what to say anymore because I've already said it all. It's a lot of it is just it's nothing new. For anyone who's been in gaming a long time, like for example, I've been gaming since the Sega Genesis days, and you know I'm in my 30s, and I remember as a kid getting my first Sega Genesis. It came with Sonic the Hedgehog 1. And since from that moment on, I was a gamer, man. And for as long as Sony's been in the game, they've always just done wild stuff, man. Heard about Bayonetta thing. Knows how nobody dares blame. Hey, funny thing, Hebot was telling me the same thing. Channel has nobody was blaming Nintendo for it because Nintendo has published and funding the Bayonetta 3 game. I see. The only reason why I haven't spoken on its channel is because I haven't done the research to know enough facts on it, and I don't want to be talking out my ass on it. But Hebot was saying the same thing about how nobody blames Nintendo, even though they got some fault to it. But hey, man, you both are right. You know, Nintendo ain't free from criticism either. Let's see. Direct Gaming said just started this video. Oh, hey, thanks, man. Thanks for sharing it, man. Yes, you know, I got some free time right now, so I figure just might as well talk about this stuff real quick. You know, get it off my chest, get some thoughts out there that I couldn't that I didn't fully get out there because it was just so baffling, right? I never seen a next gen console get hate for its performance this bad outside of the Xbox One and the 720p nonsense. I meant the 900p nonsense. That was worse than this. But the Xbox Series S doesn't have the same hate that last generation does. People generally like Xbox right now. You know, I could say that with great confidence. People genuinely like Xbox. So to see this dev go on this bizarre rant, and the rant was so bizarre, calling it a potato and cursing people out over it, it's like, come on, man. What are you doing? If you are a dev, you know, to me, if you're a game dev, I don't think you should be on Twitter, man, because that toxicity on Twitter is going to get to you if your game ain't perfect. You know, and it ain't worth screwing up your mental health like that dude did just because people are angry at a video game. I'd personally say get off Twitter and just ignore the mess and don't embarrass yourself like that. Just going on this bizarre rant. And then all he did was cause more ill will towards Gotham Knights and towards WB for no reason. That's all he did. He caused ill will for no reason at all. All because he wanted to blame the Series S for a problem it doesn't have. Because only a handful of games, and when I say a handful, it really is a handful that I could think of, doesn't run at 60 frames or same frame rate as the Series X. And even that, I can't think of any off the top of my head. Speaking of DC, is Ezra really going to jail? Nah, well, I saw that they were reshooting some stuff for him, but if he goes to jail, he kind of deserves it, So this ain't like it's not like if The Rock was going to jail and you'd be like, what the fuck is The Rock going to jail for? He seems like a damn sweetheart, even if he is like a 6'6" former wrestler, But this Ezra dude, he did some wild stuff. So if he is going to jail, he kind of deserves it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what that means for the Flash movie. I still hope the Flash movie's good. I could see his actions impacting the way people see that movie though. I could see that a channel. I could see that impacting it hard, man. Um, yeah. All right. See how long have I been live, man? It's probably been about 30, 40 minutes by now. Yeah, yeah. Right now it's pretty chill. The benefits of working from home is that you get days like this where you got time in between, and I got a 1 hour lunch break and all that stuff. Yeah, but other than that, man, it's I still think gaming. I still think over in the overall gaming world, I think we're in a great time. Um, this month alone, Plague's Tale come out next week. I just picked up that game, No More Heroes 3. It's a lot of fun. Gotham Knights is this Friday. Scorn just hit last Friday. There's that Gunfire Reborn is hitting Game Pass on the 28th. That looks like it's gonna be fun. Call of Duty, Call of Duty is always a big hit. Even though I'm not a Call of Duty fan personally. Chandler said, "Hope Flash doesn't get back." Nah, I don't think it will. I don't think it will at all. That would really surprise me if they canned that movie channel. I don't think it's going anywhere, man. So you good on that. You good on that. Now, as a DC fan, I do wish that they had the same level of I do wish that they had the same level of security the Marvel movies does. But hold on one second, guys. All right, sorry about that. So yeah, I ordered me the Xbox wireless headset, and they just got delivered this moment. So that's why I had to step away. I heard good things about this headset, so I can't wait to try them out, man. I've heard really good things about the wireless headset. I also picked up that Lunar Shift controller, but that hasn't been delivered yet. That should be coming soon. But yeah, man, I'm a definitely can't wait to check out this new headset because mine broke months ago, and I've been going without it. Emmanuel A1. Uh, would the fandom accept Black Flash now instead of? Yeah, might as well accept it. How about High on Life? Yeah, I'm extremely excited for High on Life. Extremely excited for that one as well. That looks like a lot of fun. And it looks like it should be a funny game, because got the clearly got the Rick and Morty voice actors and writers to it. Gotham Knights is this Friday. Yep, the 21st, man. 21st, and I can't wait. Y'all cool with 30 FPS for Gotham Knights? Yeah, I mean, well, let me specify my thoughts, Legal. When I first heard the news, yeah, I was disappointed because I like 60 frames per second as much as the next guy. But after sleeping on it, it's one of the things where for me personally, I don't get too upset about stuff in gaming because it's a hobby, right? And hobbies are optional, and so if it affects me or not, if I like it or not, chances are the 30 FPS won't really factor into it if I love it. But still, to me, options are always better. Options are definitely always better. But yeah, man. But 30 FPS, it sucks. But for me personally, just not the end of the world. Excuse me. Hell no, I wasn't gonna buy it anyways. But it sets a bad precedent. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just don't feel that strongly. But to be fair, huge DC fan, looking for it for 2 years. I'm clearly biased here, and don't let my bias change your opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna play the game regardless because it's something that I've been looking forward to for ages. And outside of if it was a broken mess, unplayable, and I couldn't, and all that other stuff, yeah, I'd be upset. But 30 FPS, it's not the end of the world. Oh well. It sucks, but what can you do? If I can't change, I can't. I don't have the power to change it. I see no point in losing sleep over stuff I can't change. That's kind of how I approach life in general. He said he got the Lucid Sound 100 times 72 hours gameplay for 90. So the Lucid Sound, that's another headset, right? Or is that a functionality with the headset, the wireless headset? Nah, there's a $500 Xbox headset. What? What? It's $500. Well, I didn't even see that on the site, Emmanuel. I saw the $100 one. That's the one that I ended up buying. It's $500 for a headset. That thing better. I better be able to hear my heartbeat with that. Suicide Squad is coming too. 130 hours Bluetooth. Hey, Legal. Are you talking about the headset, right? Saw the Lunar controller post by Xbox. Yeah, I purchased that. It should be yeah. I collect most controllers. I don't know if it's most of them. I have about 30 controllers. And my favorite channels are the ones that's usually based off video games. Like the Sea of Thieves, the Forza 5, the Halo controllers. Those are ones those are ones that I'll buy immediately off the back. And then if they have other custom controllers that I like, I'll just pick them up as well. And I saw that Lunar, love the silver, and it looks really neat. So I just went ahead and bought it. I'm fortunate enough to have a good job disposable income and stuff like that allows me to collect. Because while games is a fantastic hobby, it could be an expensive hobby. It's tough to like 2023. If it wasn't for Game Pass, there's no way I'd be able to afford all them games coming out next year. No way would I be able to afford like the Harry Potter games, Starfield, Forza, Redfall, and Suicide Squad, and then the list of other games I'm not mentioning. Right? No way possible to afford all of that. But thanks to stuff like Game Pass, it allows me to budget things a lot differently. Yeah. See, I got the Dolby Atmos app on on my Xbox console for this reason, because when I was researching it, I heard that works really well on the headset. Emmanuel said, unlimited bang in Olusfen BioPlay headset. It's got lambskin lambskin air cups. I'm getting it for Christmas. Man, do your thing, Emmanuel. If that thing got lambskin air cups, that thing gonna be more comfortable than one of them Tempur-Pedic mattresses. I wanted to see a Thieves and Forza one. Missed the boat. See, that's why I jumped on them controllers as soon as they went on sale, man, because I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to sell out fast. And then the worst part, channel, if you like go to eBay or Amazon and try to buy them, they want like $250. Not for a controller, man. I haven't even bought the Elite controller because it's too expensive for me. I mean, let's see. Goggle Poe here says, as a hobby, I think video games are the best bang for your buck. Even when people, yeah, that's true. But I was more specifically saying if you're gonna try to buy things day one, it could get pricey. Now the good thing about Gaming Poe, there are sales all the time. Xbox always does, the Black Friday sale, the Christmas sale, the spring sale, the summer sale. Then throughout the years, you get them random sales, anime sales, Ubisoft sales, EA sales, and all that stuff. So you could there's always some affordability to it, but it could also add up to if you're like me, own hundreds and hundreds of games and all this other stuff, buy collector's editions and all that. The Dolby, yeah, I got the Dolby app as well. Legal. I got the Dolby app as well. All right, guys. So I'm gonna get back to work. Everyone, thank you for joining me, man. Thank you for just hanging out with me for a little while. I always enjoy hanging out with the chat, man. You guys are always awesome, man. Just always awesome. Um, Other than that, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. I might have the Unlimited Truth later this week. If not, enjoy your week, and I'm out of here. And Google poll last one said day one purchase insane.